Welcome back, everyone, here to Bronx Talks. Today, we got a very special video for you guys. We are going to be talking about 5 Yankees who could get called up in 2023 and talk about some guys that you should get on your radar because these players might be making their debut in the Bronx in 2023, which is definitely something to be excited about. So, Christian, who's one of the guys that we think has a shot at making their debut in 2023?
Anthony Volpe. Now, he was brought up to AAA last year when Oswald Peraza got called up to the Yankees, and he had an OPS of 802 across AA and AAA last year. And he was actually just rated to have the highest IQ in baseball by MLB Pipeline, which is pretty cool.
For the minor leagues.
Told by Cashman that he would have a shot at the starting shortstop job. Now, do I think it's the most likely thing that he's going to be the starting shortstop on opening day? No, I don't. Because we have Oswald Peraza, who's was already brought up last year and who's right behind Volpe in terms of prospect rankings. However, he has a shot, and I think it's definitely likely we're going to see him next year at least.
Yeah, I would say it's almost guaranteed at some point he's going to find a way on that roster, and I feel like the Yankees are really going to give him a really solid role. I think he's going to be a big contributor in 2023, and, you know, like Cashman told him, he has a shot for that shortstop job opening day, so you never know, and I think he's going to have a big role on the 2023 team, and I'm definitely excited about him, so he will definitely get called up at some point, which is something I'm super excited about. Christian, the second guy we got is Austin Wells, who absolutely dominated high A last year, then called up to double A last year. And he's been a really solid player in the minor leagues. He's been putting up big numbers for a while now. And he just continues to rake and continues to develop. Now, he is in double A. I wonder if the Yankees will start him out in triple A this year. That's still yet to be known. But he is definitely someone I think who could get called up in 2023, given that he's continuing to progress, continuing to put up good numbers. And, you know, obviously the catching position is very valuable. So if something happens over there, I would expect him to be one of the guys that gets called up.
100%. He was the Yankees' first round draft pick in 2020. He hit an OPS near 900 last year. So I get he hasn't played in AAA yet, but we've seen it before with guys. If he's raking again next year, he's a catcher. He's a lefty bat. If he's raking in AAA, the Yankees are calling him up. The Yankees are going to want to win, and he could really help with that if he plays how he played in 2022. The next guy we have is Everson Pereira. He's an outfielder. He's just 21 years old, had an OPS of 819 in high A and double A. And similar to Wells, he wouldn't be called up till later in the season because we don't even know if he's going to be starting in AAA next year. I think he definitely has a shot, but he has to get some games under his belt in AAA, and then if he's playing well, and he's also a great defender, so if he's hitting well, then he definitely has a shot to get the call, especially since we don't know what the Yankees are going to do with left field.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's another young player. And, you know, I think a lot of these guys, they're, you know, when you talk about like the Wells and the Pereira, I think they're kind of like a year away from like fully cracking the roster and being like almost an everyday player. But why not get their feet wet? They're really starting to come on the scene, and they're super close. So if these guys continue to put up big numbers, definitely do expect them to make their debut. What role they'll have on the team, how significant will that be? I have no idea. But we're just talking about guys who could get called up, and these two guys in Wells and Pereira definitely have a solid shot to do so. The next guy we have is Josh Breaux, catcher in AAA. And, you know, he really, you know, last year between AA and AAA really put up some good numbers. Hit 19 home runs between the two. Very solid defensive catcher. and he definitely could be an option to be that third catcher on the team. You know, if an injury happens or something like that. But he's young, he has power, and he's definitely someone I could see getting called up in 2023, maybe playing for a little bit. And, you know, the Yanks got a lot of catchers, but, you know, I say he is the closest in AAA next to Ben Rortvedt. So I think, you know, it's going to be a battle down there in AAA. And, you know, who knows, maybe one of these guys can get called up.
Yeah, I think Ben Rortvedt definitely has the edge on him a little bit. But if you go to his baseball reference page, you'll see a 6.99 OPS in AAA last year. And that really doesn't jump off the page. But it was a little bit of a down year for him. You know, he's had OPS in the 800s before. So, and he's also a pretty good defensive catcher. So you combine that and assume that he's going to get a little bit better hitting. I mean, if he's in the 750 OPS range in AAA, and whether Higashioka or Trevino gets hurt, or one of them's just really not performing, he definitely has a shot to get called up, and then we see if he proves himself or not. But yeah. I think he definitely has one of the most realistic guys to get called up on this list, simply because you need a little bit of catching depth.
Yeah, the Yankees certainly have a lot of catching depth, which is definitely good to see, and they have a lot of good young catchers in the system. So I'm really excited to, you know, see what these guys can do. And maybe, you know, one of them could be trade chips or something like that, because they do have a lot, but they are definitely very talented young players, and I'm super excited to see them, especially Austin Wells. I'm very high on him.
100%. His bat seems really, really elite. The final guy we have is Johnny Brito. He's a starting pitcher. He posted a 2.96 ERA in Double and AAA last year. One thing that concerns me a bit with him is his strikeouts. The strikeout numbers really aren't great. But at the end of the day, if you're getting outs, that does mean something. So do I think he's going to be in the mix in the first month in April? No. But when you get to the summer and pitching starts to get a little depleted and you need a little bit of help, if he's doing the same thing again, a sub-3 ERA, I don't see why the Yankees aren't going to call him up and give him a shot. And if he continues to get out in the majors, then who cares how many strikeouts he has? He's getting outs, and that's what you need. So I'm really interested to see what's the future with him, and I think we could see a little bit of him this year.
I do expect he finds his way up there eventually, especially, you know, pitchers in AAA, whether that be starters, relievers. If you're a good pitcher in AAA, whether you be a starter or reliever, and you're doing that for a long period of time throughout the season in AAA, you usually find a way to make that roster, because, you know, there's a lot of pitching spots available and teams can never have enough pitching. And there's obviously stuff that happens throughout the season where you need to get more pitching help. And Johnny Brito definitely could be someone who gets called up. And these, at the end of the day, are all ifs. They might get called up, but, you know, these are what we think would be the most likely guys to get called up for the 2023 season.